This is 15th Street Fisheries. Look at this beautiful restaurant. Wow. Gorgeous, right? This is the Venice of America, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Look at this beautiful restaurant. What is the name of the restaurant, sir?
15th Street Fisheries.
Fisheries, 15th Street Fisheries. Look at this beautiful.
Also, I want to point out something.
This beautiful.
It was 2 days before Christmas.
Beautiful.
And take a look at this shot here called Kimosabi. Anywhere remember the name Kimosabi? If you're old enough like me, that was the Long Range beams in there. And it took 5 years, but it's Category 5 hurricane proof, like a fortress. But on the far right side, you're going to see stairs going up to the mother-in-law quarters up there. That's only Category 1 hurricane proof. And Mr. and Mrs. Paddock have their own yachts here. To put a house down, landscaped it, put a deck with chairs. They have no intention of putting a home on it. They live a mile and a half away in a condominium downtown, but they come over here and enjoy that backyard. That yard there worth about $8 million. But it's appreciating every day, go out and value. Here's a beautiful home on the right. Does anybody know who Taylor Swift is? She doesn't live there. I don't know who does. That is a beautiful home. And here's where Wayne Huizinga lived until he passed away in 2018. This property has 5 buildings on it. One big compound, one big estate. That second building was his air-conditioned doghouse there, a 2-story green building. I wouldn't mind living in that. Nicer and bigger than my little condo. And the main house where he and his wife lived was around the corner here, the 2-story home. He had George W. Bush for dinner here when Bush was president. That's quite an honor having a president in your home for dinner. But I got to know Wayne and his wife Marty. I worked in Miami at the Dolphin Stadium, Joe Robbie, for 5 years, from '89 till 2004. He bought the, actually it was 89 till 2000, 5 years after '89. Get my years mixed up. But he bought the stadium and the football team in '91 when I attended. He threw a big party for blockbuster corporate people. Walked over to me, bald head, big blue eyes, big smile, puts his arm around me. Said, "You're doing a great job." Took good care of us, nice guy. But when it came to business, the man was ruthless. You couldn't compete against him. But he also started the Florida Marlins and Florida Panthers from scratch. Everything he touched turned to gold. And this home he built for his favorite niece, the Harry Potter house, designed by Universal Studios. Secret passageways, magic wand control lights and air conditioning. Beautiful home. And now we're coming up on an older house built in the 30s. I love this old architecture right here. And my mother-in-law was a famous model. She modeled for that statue right there lit up in the front, the Medusa. Now we're coming up on a 2-story home here. It was in a movie called Cape Fear with Nick Nolte, Robert De Niro, and Jessica Lange. That movie took place in the Outer Banks of the Carolinas. That home looks like architecture in the area. That's why they filmed it here. The other reason they filmed here, Nick Nolte owned a home around the corner, but couldn't leave the area under house arrest. So they had to film here locally.
Upbound from GQ 15 POV.
And coming on the right is a beautiful mansion here you're going to see in a minute where the lights are on the dock right there. That was sold 3 months ago by a man by the name of Jared. He owned Jared Jewelers, a huge jewelry company. The new owners haven't moved in yet. They're doing some stucco work in the front and they just got done painting the building. Right there, beautiful mansion right there. And I want to point out where I live. You see the little old white house here with the lights smoking across that little old white house? I live west of there, 9 miles to the west. And here's a home that was owned by Mary Walker, the first female doctor in Fort Lauderdale. That 2-story white house. She treated patients in the office on the left over there. That was back in the 30s. And here's an antique boat, probably 80 years old right there, number 21, in front of that house. That house built in 1920. That's the front door of the house facing the water with stairs going up. The reason for that, they were the first people to live in this area. There were no roads. The only way to get to the house was by boat back in those days. Must have been lonely. They were the only people living here in 1920. And that's stop number 2 right here. We're going to come back for these people. It's only 2.5 blocks from number 1. That's also Los Olas. We recommend number 1 though. How many getting off at stop? Fine, as we come up to the stop, please stay seated until we're through the stop for your own safety. Like I said, the currents are very swift sometimes, and you don't get to land smoothly at the dock. You don't want to fall and get hurt. And on behalf of Captain Nico and myself, we want to thank you again for riding water taxi. Again, we are in the service industry. Any tips or gratuities I appreciate. They do go a long way. I'm sure we're doing a good job. Big part of our salary. But thank you.